Hi guys, it's Ouchwoman. How's everyone doing? Good. I realise I'm a little bit late with this one, so I do apologise. I try to do them at the beginning of the month, but I did take a little break after Christmas and New Year and stuff just to gather my thoughts, shall we say. Hi Zazu. So this is December's questions and answers. This is some of the stuff that you guys asked me in December. So there's not really much more to say apart from answering them. I printed them out, briefly glanced at a few. So I always do this a little bit off the cuff, so if I ramble on, I apologise. Oh, 2 apologies in a minute. It's a record. So let's just get on with it. The first question came from, well, the first question on this piece of paper at least, is from Anna Hung. She says, hello there, I love fragrances and I have a good collection, but I have a really hard time picking out notes that are obvious to fragrance reviewers like yourself. How would I train my nose to pick out individual notes like oak moss, leather, oud, etc, etc? So I think I've answered this question before way back, but I'll answer it again for anyone that's new. There's a couple of different ways. Some are easy, some not so easy. The easiest way to do it, but isn't necessarily the cheapest, is to smell raw materials. Get yourself some essential oils, especially for more tricky things that you can't just find in nature. That's another way to do it, you know, smell nature. Go hug a tree, pick a stem of grass. If you see a flower, go sniff it. That's what I do. Yeah, I'm that guy hugging the tree around the corner. But because I did a bit of training in perfumery, I worked a lot with raw materials and it really gave me a good base knowledge of the way things smelled. Smelling something in its raw form is the best answer I can give you. There is another way because obviously not everybody wants to just go and buy loads of essential oils and things like that. And there's also certain things that you can't get in essential oil form. Things like fantasy notes, like leather. So the best other way you can do it is look up the fragrances that you have and look at what the main note is that is shared between all of them. A good reference point for many things is a website called fragrantica.com. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that site. If you just look at your collection and you see a resounding note across all, take jasmine. If it's voted on Fragrantica as the main note by a lot of people, you can smell them side by side and kind of get an idea of what something smells like. So that's one way. Things like leather are a little bit more tricky because leather isn't real. If you're talking about something that's fantasy, you know, something that isn't distilled naturally or extracted naturally, things like marine notes or cashmere, or, you know, when there's something just a bit fantasy in a perfume, it's a lot more tricky because it's going to depend on how the perfumer constructed it. So leather is tough because it's made up of a number of different things and it's really versatile. It just depends on how the perfumer made it. Oud can be part of the leather accord. You can use iris, you can use orange blossom, you can use osmanthus. There's so many things that have a leathery or suede-like smell. So stuff like that just comes with time. You just have to smell a lot of things. That's probably the best thing. I know it's not probably the easiest, but you just have to give it time and maybe focus on one thing. If you don't know what jasmine smells like, go and smell a bunch of perfumes that you know contain it as a main note. So that's a couple of options for you, Anna. I hope that answered your question. The next one comes from, oh, that last one was on my November questions, by the way. This one came from Reggie Reggae. We spoke a little bit a while back, and this one was on my Ilamasca review of their perfume called Freak. Gosh, I missed that one. I really liked that one. He says, do you have fragrances that never get complimented, or what do you think makes people notice and compliment a fragrance? I rarely get compliments, which I'm fine with, but was thinking maybe I'm shy at application. J'adore gets lots of compliments, but I used 7 to 9 spritzes. Who knows is the answer to that one. Yes, I have fragrances that don't get compliments, but you can just never tell. It might just be that the people you're around are too shy to comment. It's quite a personal thing to say to someone, oh, you smell really good, or even worse, you smell really bad. You know, some people might consider that flirting. I guess it's like an awkward situation. I personally compliment people on their fragrances all the time because I'm a fragrance lover. Usually it's because I want to know what it is and maybe get it for myself and steal it from them. But yeah, I definitely have fragrances that don't get compliments. How much you're wearing absolutely can be a factor. You know, 7 to 9 spritzes, that's like a minimum for me. So if you're not wearing a lot, then people aren't only going to notice it if they get close to you. So I have some that I've complimented constantly on and some that don't get any compliments at all. It just depends on the situation. That one's a bit of a mystery, Reggie. I don't know. Sorry. The next question was on my Decadence review by Marc Jacobs. It's from Makis Furniture. How many spritz with this one? Some say it's very strong, others say it's weak. Are 7 sprays okay? I'm going to answer this question because it can be applied to any fragrance that we're talking about. That's why I've chosen to answer it. How many spritzes is very, very personal. That's not something that I can tell you. I can't tell you how many sprays of perfume to wear. You have to judge it by how strong the perfume is. There are so many factors that contribute to that question. Where are you applying it? Is the fragrance a really strong one, or is it a citrus that's going to disappear in a few hours? What's the weather like today? I mean, certain things really sing in hot weather and certain things really sing in cold weather. It really just depends. So I can't sit here and say 7 sprays of fragrance is okay for this one. It also depends on your skin chemistry. I have to go easy on things that contain vanilla because my skin just seems to amplify it a lot. I'm wearing the new Shalimar today and it's just, the dry down is just so vanilla-y. So yeah, I can't answer that. It's gonna have to be trial and error, test it out, see the situation and figure it out for yourself. I don't need to be impolite, I'm just, that's the fact of the matter. Just test it out and see. The next one came from my Terry Mugler's Aura review. It's from, oh, I can't pronounce this one. Azarakush Karam, I hope I said that right. You said you just got the perfume, Aura, blind by Corona Time Hobby, and honestly, first I smelled bug spray and then I read some reviews, someone mentioned you should rub this perfume on the skin, apply it like a lotion, and I did. Surprisingly, it was different. Interesting. So I was wondering which one of the ingredients smells like bug spray or close to that smell. It's so unique. I've not smelled anything like this in perfumery. Generally, I like it. I like weird, unique perfumes. Okay, so let's talk about Aura. So when Mugler in particular releases a pillar fragrance, and when I say pillar fragrance, what I mean is a new fragrance, not a variation of something that exists, not a flanker, not like Angel Liqueur or Angel Crozier or Angel Sucre. When it's a new fragrance in their line, they always try to make something groundbreaking. You know, with Angel it was the gourmand patchouli oriental style thing that wasn't done before. With Humanity you had the caviar kind of salty weirdness. With Aura it's a little bit more difficult, but what I'll say is what they've done with this one is there's a couple of fantasy notes here. You have one called Tiger Liana, which I think is a floral. It's meant to be, I think, Tiger Lily from what I remember. But the main thing that was different was something called wolf wood. Now, I don't know if that's a real wood and they've had someone replicate it or not, but what they do is they use a big company, a lot of brands do, it's called Firmenich. There's a couple of other ones, there's Givaudan as well. And what the nose is, the scientists, the chemists, the perfumers, what they do there is they're constantly working on creating new accords and new fantasies and creating something that a company will want to buy and use in their perfume. Rhubarb is a really good example. I use that one quite a lot. There was someone somewhere in Firmenich or maybe Givaudan that created, hey, we can use this as rhubarb in perfumery, and then all of a sudden you start to see rhubarb appear all over the place. So Aura obviously took this wolfwood note, which is what I put the medicinal note down to. It's a fantasy. It's either an isolate, it's a molecule, it's an accord of a couple of things smushed together that create something a little bit medicinal in the opening. The other thing it could be is that Aura has quite a lot of aromatic notes in it, or an aromatic feeling. To me it's a little bit kind of like eucalyptus or something like that, so, or menthol, you know, it's something green medicinal in there, so it could be anything. Brands don't like to reveal their secrets, so I guess it's open for interpretation, but because they put such a focus on this wolfwood thing, I don't even know if that's a real thing or not, I'm gonna put it down to that. If not, it's something aromatic in there. Who knows? I hope you like the perfume though. The next question was from my live stream that I did. I did a Guerlain Snifferpalooza, I called it, which is such an American term, but I said it anyway. It's still actually online if you guys want to go and watch it. I was on there for an hour and I sniffed 12, I think, Guerlain perfumes that I've never tried before. This one says, fun, fun, fun. It's from Linda Schuall. And you said, I came in towards the end, but rewound to watch it all. I'm interested in learning more about different woody, spicy, nutty, and aromatic perfumes. Not all together necessarily. Maybe they're not all official perfume categories, but could you enlighten us with your awesome wealth of knowledge, please? Also, I've not seen many reviews on green notes, which I'm not sure I would like. I wish FAUN was available in the USA. Warm cheers from Connecticut. Send a message on Etsy and you might get an answer about the FAUN. Okay. Interested to learn about different woody, nutty, aromatic perfumes. That's quite a lot of stuff in one go. Where do I go with this one? So woody is probably the biggest category of perfume on the fragrance wheel for me. Woody encompasses so many different things. Floral is huge, obviously. Woody is huge. I mean, that's going to take some investigation on your part, because I could sit here and list 1,000 woody perfumes, which I don't think anyone's got time for. But woody encompasses oud, it encompasses patchouli. Patchouli is a woody note. There are things that smell woody that aren't necessarily from a tree or a bark or a twig. Even things like petitgrain, you know, from the orange tree, twigs, stuff like that. It's a huge thing. Woody is big, so I'm not going to be able to answer that one. I would suggest Fragrantica again and search woody or wood notes. There's so many. Rosewood, sandalwood, oak, mahogany, cedarwood. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Nutty is a little bit more specific, and nutty, I consider it to be a fantasy thing. Some of the nutty perfumes that come to mind are Angel Muse by Terry Mugler. It has a very distinct hazelnut note in there. There's one by Imaginary Authors and it's called Yesterday Haze. It's a really gorgeous iris fragrance, but it has a walnut note in it and cream, so it's like a fluffy soft walnut cream thing. Oh, what else? There's things I swear I've seen with macadamia in it. But yeah, there's two nutty ones for starters. Nutty definitely isn't a fragrance wheel section. Green, however, is. Green is another thing that encompasses so many things. It can be anything like grass, leaves, just planty stemminess, anything with galbanum in it. Green is an easier one to pick out. If you search chypres, a lot of the time there's greenery in them. I might have done a video on green. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I should. But anyway, Linda, I hope that answers some of your questions. It's quite a big question to answer though. I could be here doing a whole video just on that. The next question was posted on my Velvet Orchid review by Tom Ford, and it's by Young Hog, and it says, can a man wear this? All together now? Yes, yes, yes. The next question was posted on my November questions and answers video. It's from Janaba Sibal. It says, hey Tom, I just thought of a question. How do you keep perfume from expiring, or how do you keep a vintage perfume for longer without it going bad? Does keeping perfume in the fridge really work? This is another question that comes up all the time. I think I've answered it, but I will reiterate quite briefly for you. Keeping perfume in the fridge is not a good idea for me. Some people do have fridges for their perfume, but it has to be at a perfect temperature. Actually, refrigerating your perfume is different from keeping it cool. Perfume does not like extreme temperature, whether it's really hot or really cold, and it especially doesn't like a change in temperature. So that's why keeping your fragrances in the shower room, the room where you shower, isn't good, because it's constantly changing temperature. So you need to store them essentially in dark, cool places, not in a fridge though. I know some people live in very hot countries and they don't have a choice, but cool and dark is the best way to keep a fragrance healthy, happy, and not gonna turn bad. So I hope that answers your question. The next question was on a random sniffing video that I did, and it's from Dario D. It says, do you think that Madame Rocha can be worn by men too? Yes. Anyone that's thinking of asking me a question, can a man wear this one? Can a woman wear this one? The answer is always going to be yes. Pick up the bottle, spray it on your skin. Done. The next one was posted on my November questions. It's from Georgina N. Here's a strange question for you. Is there any fragrance out there that reminds you of London? My mum was from Tottenham. Ooh, North London, represent. Sorry, I'm a North Londoner too. I live in Canada and I've never been able to go there and don't know if I'll be ever able to afford to. My perfume journey began when I got Dior Hypnotic Poison. Okay, I was curious if you might have a recommendation for a London inspired perfume. Oh my gosh, when I think of London and I think of perfume, I think of the history of London. I think of dark things, I think of fire, I think of smoke, I think of roses, as it's kind of our national flower. There are fragrances inspired by London. There is one by a brand called Gallivant, and that's actually their entire thing. All of their fragrances are named after cities. There is a London fragrance and it is a rose one. There's a company that I used to collect perfumes from in America called Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab. They also have a fragrance called London. And in terms of the ones that make me think of London, because I think of dark things, I think of the dark history of London, things like Jack the Ripper, the Great Fire of London, the Plague, just stuff like that. I always think of the Gothic side. There is a really cool brand called Beaufort London, and a lot of them are inspired by history. A lot of them contain a dark smoky note. There's one called Tonnerre, which is a hyper smoky, edgy perfume, but it's really not for the faint-hearted. If you're not into niche, it could be quite shocking. But definitely try Gallivant's one out because it's a lot more approachable and it's a nice rose. So hope that answers your question, and come back to London. It's your roots. The next question is from my Kenzo Jungle Elephant video review, and it's from Rivan. Rivan, you ask me quite a lot of questions. Does this smell like this? Does this smell like that? I've heard that this smells like that. I'm going to give you a bit of advice. Again, I'm going to point you towards Fragrantica. If you want to know if something is similar to something, go to any perfume page on Fragrantica and there's a section underneath which is where people compare it to something, and you can sometimes see 100 people have voted that this smells like this. I think that will really help you because you seem to want to know if things smell like other things quite a lot. So I hope that helps. You asked me, you want to know if Kenzo Elephant smells like Knowing by Estee Lauder or Coco Chanel. It doesn't. I haven't smelled Knowing by Estee Lauder. I probably should actually. Thanks for pointing that out. It definitely doesn't smell like Coco Chanel though. Both are spicy perfumes. That's probably the only link between them. But Elephant is a cinnamon perfume with a lot of sweet notes, and Coco leans much more oriental. So they don't smell similar to me at all. But yeah, head over to Fragrantica if you want to know if things smell like other things. If you're looking at Coco Chanel, you can look underneath and see what people think it smells like. I hope that helps. Thank you. The next question is from Eva Brunson, and it was on my Zoologist Camel review. Gosh, that was so long ago. Thomas, this is such an inspirational review. Thank you very much. Love watching, stay safe, and my thanks, Eva. Can you recommend how to buy Zoologist perfumes, especially the 10ml testers? Yes, I can. Go directly to their website. Victor, the owner, has just introduced a travel set of 5 10ml sprayers where you can pick your favourite 5. You can also buy them individually from him. Here is a link to their website. I think it's just zoologistperfume.com. Go and buy them from Victor himself. And if you want to get that little pack, he sent me it. It's absolutely beautiful. It opens like a book and you can pick your 5 favourite zoologists. So hope that helps. The next question is on my best and worst of État Libre d'Orange fragrances. It's from Binder 8. And they say, I've been reading a lot of talk that État Libre d'Orange is very hard to wear. What's a great État Libre d'Orange for summer? État Libre d'Orange is a very wide range of perfumes. Their older stuff used to be a lot more edgy. Some of the newer stuff is a lot easier to wear. I think they started to try and appeal to a much more mass market. It's a brand for me that's very up and down. Some of them I think are fantastic, and then I smell another one and I go, oh, that's kind of boring. I have smelled the newest one, Exit the King, which I think is really cool. I might do a review on it, I'm not sure. But for summer, État Libre d'Orange, you should try Fil de Dieu. It's inspired by the Philippines. It's a kind of coconutty, musky, it smells a little bit like Thai green curry at first, but it goes very gentle and tropical at the end. The most obvious one is You or Someone Like You, which has 5 types of mint, eucalyptus, really bright. It's about the carefree nature of LA. Also try Cologne by them. It's in a white bottle. It's a really bright citrus with lots of orange blossom. There is also Remarkable People, which is in the gold bottle. That one is another citrus one which has a kind of fizzy champagne texture to it. That one's really nice too. But really, yeah, those are the main ones. I have tried every fragrance they've ever done, so that was a good question because I am knowledgeable about that brand. So thanks for your question. The next question is from Ornelia Bella, and this is on my Jean Paul Gaultier label. It says, hello, I need your advice please. I'm confused between Dior Poison Girl Eau de Parfum, Jimmy Choo Eau de Parfum, Jean Paul Gaultier Label, and Givenchy Haute Couture. Which one smells more expensive, seductive, and sexy? I would say Jimmy Choo Eau de Parfum out of those 4. Dior Poison Girl is very, very sweet. It depends what sexy is to you though. It's not something that I can particularly answer for you, as I don't know you. Sorry. But the reason I would say Jimmy Choo out of all of those is because that one has the most wood in it. So it has a sultry woodiness. It's a lot more seductive to my nose. The others are, for me, very overly sweet. However, it's kind of known that a lot of guys like very sweet perfumes on women. So it depends what you want the sexy for. Do you want it for yourself? I don't know. My answer is Jimmy Choo though. Try that one out. The next one came from my November questions, and it's from Donna Narelle. You're always the best. No, you're the best. Here's a question. Do you avoid purchasing perfumes that you like, but remind you of someone you didn't like or you don't want to compete with? I avoid scents that smell like someone I know. P.S. If you lived in the USA, I would send you all of my blind buys. Don't do that anymore. That's so kind, thank you. No, the answer to that question is no. I don't really dislike anyone that much, or if I do dislike them or if I've fallen out with them, it's, I don't know, my taste is so wacky anyway that a lot of people that I know don't wear the same as me anyway. But if I didn't like them, I wouldn't be around them, so it wouldn't bother me. I only really remember perfumes that people have worn that I like and I have fond memories of. So the answer to that question is no, I don't avoid them. I don't dislike that many people, so thanks for your question. Okay, another one from Richard Legg on the same video. Hi, I have a question, well two. Are there any fairly average fragrances you hold in higher regard purely because of a great bottle? Plus the opposite, any amazing fragrances you think less of because of a poor bottle? Absolutely not. I will say that the bottle is usually a factor. You know, if you're shopping for fragrances in an airport, oh gosh, what's that like? I've forgotten what that's like. You're always going to be attracted to the things that, for me personally, that are sparkly or look really chic or cool, and then you smell them and, you know, things can change. But for me, it's all about the smell. It doesn't matter really. I wouldn't put something in a lower regard because the bottle's not so nice. If you look at niche fragrances in particular, they don't really have fancy bottles and they contain a lot of the most amazing things I've ever smelled. Where designer is the opposite. They have really fancy bottles and a lot of them are kind of insipid nowadays especially. So it wouldn't change the way I felt about it because at the end of the day it's about the smell, not what it's contained in. So I hope that answers your question, Richard. Okay, we have 2 left. This one came from my Chanel Allure Sensuelle video. Would you do Chanel Coco Noir review? It's similar to Allure Sensuelle. Do you know what? Coco Noir is a fragrance that I have not reviewed, and I have been asked a lot of times to review it. And because of that, whenever I see it, I do pick it up and smell it. And it's one of those perfumes that I really want to like. I really want it to be good, but every time I've smelled it, I've just felt uninspired. So I've never had a sample, I've only ever smelled it in shops. I want to like it, but I kind of don't. I really do like Allure Essential Oil though. If I ever get a sample of Coco Noir, I will review it so I can actually wear it at home and form an opinion. But as of now, I haven't reviewed it and I don't really plan to. Sorry. And the last question is from Demira. No, it's not from Demira. It's from Dima, and it was from my Narciso Rodriguez Rouge. How long does it last on skin? This goes back to how many sprays is good. It's not something that I can answer. In my reviews, I try to give a general idea of how long something lasts, whether it's like a 10-hour thing or if it's a medium, you know, like a 4-hour, 5-hour. But ultimately, it depends on all of those things that I mentioned in my how many sprays answer a while back, a minute ago, 10 minutes ago. It depends on your skin type, it depends on the weather, it depends on how much of it you've sprayed, it depends on where you've sprayed it, it depends on just everything. So it's all trial and error, test it out. I can only give you a general idea of how long it lasts on me. It could be completely different on you. I just try to keep it, you know, this is a really long lasting one and it's powerful, or it's not so much. So I hope that answers your question, Dima. Alright guys, that's it. That's the end of my December questions and answers video. I will do this again in January. I've already had some more questions that I'm going to answer. Hope you guys are staying safe and well. And yeah, we're in a third lockdown here in London. I mean, a full one. We're not allowed to go out, really, unless it's for essential travel. So more time to do videos, I guess, right? Anyway guys, I'm out to my trying to make the world smell better, one video at a time. I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.